The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Regulators.
Jerry West,
Regulate any stealing.
Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem, Magic, Van Exel. Yes, I'm including Van Exel. Shaq, Kobe, LeBron. LeBron James is now a Los Angeles Laker, or Lakers. I've heard it many different ways this week. Guys, is this an amazing day, the best day?
It's a celebration.
What?
I was gonna say that Eric celebrated on the last podcast before it was even done.
That's right.
That was a good one, but you topped yourself.
Yeah, I mean that was a real genuine just expression of excitement when I realized in that moment when you had provided that information. I was like, he's coming, and
Could not be more excited.
I'm speechless.
We were fairly right, which is weird because we're not
it seemed
always
like
right.
everyone knew without knowing.
But we also said the one we're most confident in was LeBron. That we had lost confidence in the Paul George thing. We didn't know what the hell to make of Kawhi Leonard.
No.
We felt
Does
like
anyone?
No, still no.
No.
But
Maybe
we had
Uncle
the LeBron
Dennis.
thing. We got eyes on the ground here in L.A. Bronny's at Sierra Canyon. Everything is
Canyon.
good. Congratulations, by the way, to Sierra Canyon on their upcoming state title.
Yeah, no. Is there an former NBA player whose son, or former or current NBA player whose son isn't on Sierra Canyon?
Who are the other names there?
Scottie Pippen,
Kenyon Martin.
Kenyon Martin.
Those are the two I think that I've read.
Yeah, I think
Kiki
that's
Vandeweghe.
Right. What's Kiki Vandeweghe's kid's name?
Well, actually, she's
Frank?
a tennis player.
Oh.
His daughter
Oh
is.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that took a very accurate turn that I wasn't expecting. Frank Payton. We have so many things to talk about.
We have so much. But I mean, I guess it all really starts with LeBron. We got one of the two best players of all time.
Yeah.
He's 33 going on 34, so kind of at the back end.
I would say 33 going on 27.
Right. I mean, there's been no real dip in his play. So, we're getting him, I feel like, at the end of his prime, I guess.
Super long
Which makes
prime.
no sense, but it seems true.
16-year prime.
And we just watched him drag a miserable Cavs team to the NBA Finals and almost pull out Game 1. It's just
How did they
incredible.
win those series? How did they beat Indiana? There was
Smoke and mirrors. And LeBron.
And LeBron. Yeah.
Eric, go.
I mean, just imagine Staples Center opening night.
Yep.
I'm gonna
LeBron
have-
James.
Here's the thing,
Everyone's
though.
going to blow their load. Like, a lot of fake breasts are just going to explode
Gonna be
spontaneously.
So exposed.
Here's the thing, though. We're going to have to imagine it because none of us will be able to afford to be
That's
there.
100% correct.
Eli's going to spot so many rogue nipples. That's one of Eli's
That's
greatest
true.
talent.
That is true. I'm like the crocodile hunter, but for nipples, and I'm alive.
Aw.
It's good. Yeah, sorry.
R.I.P. Steve Irwin.
It's really going to be the best. I cannot wait for Lawrence Tanner to go. And now, your Los Angeles Lakers. And the last name will be LeBron James's. And here's the part.
Wait, it's not going to be KCP. He's not going
it'll
to be introduced
KCP.
last.
You're right. It's going to be KCP. Just because that's the biggest mouthful. Here's the thing that I also want to talk about that I think is really the key part to all of this, which is that the contract LeBron signed wasn't for a 1-and-1. It was not the Cavaliers, show me treatment. He signed for 3 years with a player option for a fourth, which means he's committing to this team. He is going to be a Los Angeles Laker for the foreseeable future.
Dude, 4 years is an eternity.
An eternity. And he has not done that for other teams. So we haven't. He's a Laker.
What did we do? How did this...
Magic.
Oh, by the way, this is ball in, ball out.
Oh, yeah. A hoop ball presentation. Sorry, there's just nothing.
We're way too excited.
LeBron in, LeBron out. We have to change our name.
We may have to change it. That's great news.
It's great news.
$153 million.
Drop in the bucket.
Yeah, a pittance.
Pittance.
For what he'll do to the franchise.
Yep.
This was a marvelous FU to Dan Gilbert.
It sure was.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, it's... Also, everyone was claiming this was not a basketball move. I agree in general, and everyone was saying this is not a step up from the Cavs team. But you know what? Over a 4-year period, it will be. Because talent-wise, we're equivalent to them right now. The difference being that we have a ton of flexibility, and they were strapped to that same crappy team.
Yeah, getting worse.
Getting worse. We're getting more mature and experienced and have a ton of cap room. I think we're going to definitely contend for championships over the next 4 years.
Yeah, I feel like people that said it wasn't a basketball decision are just saying, well, he could have gone to a team that was already much better.
Right.
But he got on 2 ships passing in the night, one going towards the island of gold and the other heading off a bad thing. A glacier, I think. That ends poorly for ships, right?
Yeah.
That's beautiful imagery, Dan.
Thank you,
Beautiful imagery.
Hemingway
over there.
Yeah, well, what can I say? I've seen Titanic a few times.
Well, and hopefully, it doesn't seem like Durant is that happy with the kind of like jump on to a pre-made winner situation. I think LeBron really has nothing to prove to anyone.
No, and nobody's mad at him about the decision either.
Nope, and they shouldn't be. He did what he promised Cleveland he would do, and they'll remember that championship forever. And I also think, like, for a guy who doesn't need to do anything to burn his legacy any brighter, he did a thing that would, which is he can take a team that's been in the wilderness for 5 years, and he can restore them to greatness. He can make Space Jam 2, which the world has been waiting for a long time, which I've heard is going to happen.
It better.
And this actually would cement... He doesn't need to do it. He's already one of the 2 best players ever. But this would cement him. It would be another feather in his cap to bring the premier franchise in the NBA another title.
I think another reason no one's mad at him, this was marketed as a family decision. And I think that's genuine.
I think so, too.
But also when it's a family decision, no one can get really mad at that.
Right,
No.
yeah. Screw you.
It was
Screw your son.
last 2 decisions he probably kind of could call family decisions because everybody was back in Akron, right? And now they're all in Los Angeles. So it's like, look, I want to go home and see my kids at the end of half of the games we play.
That's right.
That's fine. Apparently, by the way, LeBron lives right around here because that.
He lives in 2 houses in Brentwood.
Yeah,
which I don't even get. But
I didn't realize. Yeah, why do you need 2 houses in Brentwood?
know. Why
That's
not?
really pricey. Whatever, he doesn't.
He's not in this building? He's not on the 3rd floor of
No, but the Carmen Sandiego guy is. So we got that.
That's right.
That article, the Lee Jenkins article, talked about a restaurant called the Votre Sante, which is just right up the street. It's not nearly as fancy as the name might sound. I've been there twice. I had a burger one time, and I had scrambled eggs the other. It's not fancy. But now
I don't think that's LeBron's order.
No, I'm sure he got something cooler. But still, when I was there, I didn't see Maria Shriver or was Eric Garcetti the other one that was in the article?
Gavin Newsom.
Oh, Gavin Newsom. That's right. Current, whatever he is, possible
Going to
future
be the governor.
Governor, yeah. I didn't notice anybody famous. It was just like me and my wife's family from Minnesota.
You got to go during the right time. You got to go during peak tampering season.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there's so much about this that's so fun. I mean, like, everyone does it, and I know that we purposely leaked that we are having a specific tampering meeting. But one thing about this decision is it's so obviously tampered because, he signs basically day one. So
he was like the last on day one, though. So at least there was that.
But you can imagine that, I'm sure, at some point last season when Magic was talking to KCP's agent, Rich Paul, I'm sure it maybe came up.
Yeah. Oh, don't you represent?
LeBron?
LeBron?
I had no idea.
Clutch? You got him in clutch? That's good. Congratulations,
wow.
Rich.
I won't say what uniform he'd look great in, but but also we signed all these other, and we'll get to the other guys. But one other key indicator was when Magic came out, about 5 days ago and said, like, look, if I don't deliver,
oh yeah,
I'll go.
Over 2 years.
No one has ever offered to be fired without knowing that the scenario that they're saying might happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
That's like when I was coaching the 9 and 10-year-olds. I challenged everyone to a race to shoot a layup, and if anyone beat me, they were going to get an ice cream cone.
Yeah, that is a low risk.
That was
offer.
a very low risk offer. I did not have to buy anyone an ice cream cone.
Spectacular. So, Dan, why don't you, because Eric and I have kind of a convoluted story about how we found out about it, but where were you when you heard the news? This is like the JFK assassination.
I was at my father-in-law's place, and I'd been because this was like 5 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah.
So it had been free agency for some... What would that be, like 17 hours? Something in that neck of the woods?
Yes.
For the first, 16 hours of free agency, I did not leave my computer. I slept poorly. I didn't bathe or eat. And then I was like, all right, we got to go to the father-in-law's place. He's in Orange County. Let's get going. So I actually learned via a text from our good buddy Ethan Teller, major Clippers fan.
Yeah.
who said, "You can finally sleep now." And then, of course, I clicked the link, LeBron James. As it turns out, my wife's family from Cleveland, so I got to break the news to them. One of whom is now kind of a transplanted Lakers fan, so he's thrilled about it.
All right.
The other one, not so much.
Yeah.
She said she'd never go see LeBron in a Lakers uniform, and I could see tears were about to come if I didn't change the subject. And it was awesome.
Just laughing in your mother-in-law's face.
Yeah, basically. So, yeah, I mean, that was it. Like, all the other stories and then all the stuff in between about LeBron taking meetings with the Sixers brass, whether or not he was going to be there.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it was just like, oh, P.S., it's done. He's a Laker now.
Okay, so here, Eric and I will tag team this story. But the first part, what?
Can you just share the story when you found out Osama bin Laden was killed?
When did I find out Osama bin Laden?
That took a weird turn.
It just when you phrased it, where were you when?
Oh yeah, no, it's like JFK was assassinated.
Yeah.
Moon landing.
LeBron.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Bin Laden.
All right, I thought you had a funny story with it. I guess I'm mistaken.
Might, but I can't.
All right, let's go into the story.
Okay, so Eric and I went on a camping trip to Lassen Volcanic National Park. We are at like a normal campsite, but we're about to take a 2-night, 3-day backpacking adventure in the deep woods.
Holy
right
hell.
before we get
a vision quest.
A vision quest. By the
Okay.
way, a woman, a stranger, gave us an entire loaf of pot brownies for nothing in a parking lot on the way up, just as a subplot. Okay, so we're about to enter the woods. I have like one bar left on my phone. I text my wife saying, like, this is where we're going. If we're not back on Tuesday, send someone.
Yeah. Send the
Because
chopper.
I have made the mistake of not doing that before and then instantly regretting it. But so I get 2 things come up on my phone.
By the way, for the record, Eli's wife, very close to giving birth to Eli's first child.
That's true.
We should also note that.
Picked a great time to go disappear. I get 2 things come up on my phone. Paul George signs for $137 million with the Oklahoma City Thunder. # unfinished business. We'll get to that. And LeBron James is meeting with the Philadelphia 76ers in Los Angeles. Eric,
you were
continue.
not in a good place going into
Eric,
the woods.
continue.
That first day was a trudge. We had low spirits. It was dark because on the way up, on our drive up, we were convinced as we ended the last podcast that we were getting LeBron. It was very high spirits. We were into it, and then we got that news. We kept hiking, and then that was all that we had.
So was that Saturday night?
That was Saturday midday.
Okay.
So we hiked, then got to our first campsite, and I think this is what made the difference is that we consumed the pot brownies.
Right.
I was going to say.
And then did a bunch of shamanistic prayers.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
We prayed to Awa,
That's
Mother
right.
Gaia.
Yeah, we covered all the bases.
Rob Pelinka.
Yes,
Rob Pelinka.
yeah, Rob Pelinka.
We prayed to the NBA gods to deliver us the goods. We did some rain dances, got naked, built a fire, got real
that's
weird.
Really true. All of that stuff is basically true. Okay, so fast forward to Tuesday.
When
yeah.
you guys got service back.
We pop out of the woods. We
did not die. We were intact. For 2 amateur bozos, we somehow
We did a
survived
good
backpacking.
job. Eric is an expert at packing a tent. He has a technique. Anyway, we emerge from the woods. There's like one place that has like a breakfast sandwich. We're like, let's go get a breakfast sandwich. Both of our phones go off. Eric, what was the text you got?
Hater Sonny said, your team is amazing and weird.
Right. I get a very similar text from my friend Tom Reed, which says, your team is awesome and weird. I don't know what you guys are doing. You. So we're now going like, we're now in the store trying to piece together what this could possibly mean.
So we thought it was LeBron and Boogie.
Right. We thought it was LeBron and Boogie.
Which you were not alone, by the way. You guys just getting that one message apiece on Tuesday. There was a long stretch where I, sitting in front of a computer reading tweets all day, also thought the team was
Right.
LeBron and Boogie.
Right. That would make sense.
Yeah.
It would make sense based on the evidence. Then we order our sandwiches, and a teen named Brad is
Of course.
ringing us up and like
Freaking
seems to
Brad.
have like vague knowledge of the NBA. But you could tell he's like chomping at the bit to talk to us. Eric is convinced he's very stoned and is probably right.
The dude was chuckling to himself. He
Yeah,
couldn't
he was.
really like formulate words.
No. And he basically is like, yeah, LeBron, yeah. And also,
Wait, how did he know you guys were?
Because we
NBA
were
people?
yelling about it.
Okay.
We were like, we were talking about our texts. Oh, the team's amazing and weird. What happened? He's like, and then he like started laughing, and then I was like, did we get LeBron? He was like, yes. And then Eli and I did the best high five.
We went nuts.
Like a Harold and Kumar high five.
Yeah. By the way, there was we were driving,
Outstanding.
leaving there, literally screaming at each other in the car. I can't simulate it now because it will blow everyone's ears out. But anyway, fast forward to this. He's also like, yeah, and you guys got some like point guard from Indiana with a funny name. And we're like, okay.
And he's not going to want to come off the bench.
He's not going to want to come off the bench. Basically, he was combining Lance
Ron-
Stevenson and Rajon Rondo. So anyway, that's the kind of long and short of our experience. But it was really a delightful way. You forget what it's like to not have the internet and not have the access to any information. And we literally disappeared during the most important 48 hours.
I know. I
of the
texted
Lakers
you
franchise.
guys, not knowing you had disappeared into the woods.
Completely
It was like,
vanished.
why are we not doing a LeBron? And I figured you guys were dead.
Yeah, you were almost
Yeah.
right.
Brad from the Manzanita Lake convenience store
Broke
was
into
our
it.
internet.
That's right.
He was
on
our
Woj.
Woj.
Yeah.
It's a Brad bomb.
It was
a total
exact.
Brad bomb.
We definitely want to get Brad on the pod.
Yeah, gotta get Brad.
Get all our information is going to be Brad bombs.
As you can giggle into the podcast.
Oh my god.
Yeah, your story's way better than mine. What a way to find out.
It was the best. It was the best. And then we had like 4 hours in a car to just like celebrate. And we listened to probably like 8 podcasts of everyone kind of dissecting it. By that time, we'd also signed the weirdos.
Yeah,
And
banana boat.
we'll get to them in a minute as well. I want to touch on the kind of spin leading up to this because there was a lot of noise coming in. I remember the drum beat right before we hit the woods was LeBron probably won't come unless there's another superstar to follow. I believe that we can officially say that was complete horse by
completely.
the San Antonio Spurs.
Undoubtedly, because about a half day later, which you guys unfortunately were, for all intents and purposes, dead.
Yeah.
A report came out, conflicting report, that said, no, LeBron doesn't care.
Yeah.
Which seemed to maybe leak out of LeBron's camp or somebody in the Eastern Conference who was just like, stop it, San Antonio. We're trying to get LeBron out of our
guys.
conference. Yeah, enough's enough. It was back and forth. That one, when I saw that second story, because I saw the first one you're talking about where LeBron wants another star, and I thought,
Yeah,
when
and
this-
he's applying pressure
Right.
to the Lakers to acquire Kawhi.
And when I heard
wonder
the
who that
second one,
benefits.
100% sure LeBron was coming to LA.
Yeah.
Because there was no reason for a second report to
Right,
emerge
why would you dispel that? Right.
unless someone in LeBron's camp was like, easy, Lakers. You're
Right.
good.
Yeah.
The key takeaway for me for this was Magic and Rob didn't totally biff this up. They
did not.
They stuck to their guns
And
they called the
perfect.
bluff of the Spurs.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for
I
that.
get chills thinking about what a great job they did of keeping their crap secret
They
for
did.
once.
They did a good
like
job.
they were the only ones after
Yeah.
all the problems the Lakers have had with tampering.
Yeah.
The only team you heard nothing from the whole time.
No.
The Lakers.
Yeah.
And there was this report like, oh, LeBron was going to have dinner with Magic, but it didn't happen. And you guys didn't get to see that one either. God, this is crazy. That report came out, and everybody and Laker fans freaked out, as we're wont to do.
Yeah.
And then when the story finally broke, when LeBron signed and Ramona Shelburne put out an article after the fact that Magic had just gone to LeBron's house, but nobody knew about it. That's amazing. How does Magic find LeBron, but nobody knows about it? Brilliant.
Brilliant.
They must have
I
taken
no
like
idea
4 SUVs
They
from
must
Magic's
have- yeah,
house,
it must have been
and he
like
was
a-
in one of them.
You remember when like Saddam Hussein used to travel with like 8 guys who also looked
Yes,
exactly
exactly.
like Saddam Hussein, and then they would split off somewhere in Baghdad?
There were 9 Magics
There were
just
9
traveling
Magics.
around L.A.
969.
Wonderfully done. I was so impressed with how they finally pulled it together, and that was a professional way to get it done. And I think
everything was
LeBron
great.
liked that.
I'm sure he did. His contract seems to indicate he liked the way that this went down.
Yeah.
Because as you said, he has put really the rest of his career in the hands of Magic, Rob, and Genie.
And whatever studio produces
Yeah.
Space Jam 2.
He's going to break all the records
Yeah.
while being a Laker. We're
awesome.
going to have so
I
many.
never
like,
thought about that.
He's going to break all of them.
Yep.
While he's a Laker, we're going to have like so many halftime ceremonies.
That's true.
for him.
Like
It's gonna-
every record.
It's going to be really drawn out. Yeah.
Outstanding. I didn't even think about that angle. What a crazy thing.
It's going to be the best.
Just emotionally, we talked about this midseason last year when some of the reports were coming out that LeBron might be coming. And I think a lot of Laker fans were, do we want him?
Right.
I think
our friend group, there was not a consensus.
Yeah.
Do we want him? I think everyone's emotional reaction was pure joy.
Yeah.
I don't think there was one Laker fan that was upset or like regretted that we have LeBron right now.
Because everybody else is still here. Randall.
Well, that's true too. The babies are still here. The core is still here.
It was also his performance in the playoffs that would just seal the deal.
That's what I
like.
thought. That was the turning point.
Yeah, this guy is insane.
And conversely, I think that the Paul George playoff performance had the opposite effect.
You mean the Joe Ingles playoff performance?
Yeah, getting sunned by Joe Ingles, I think. And I think there was also it's very funny how just life works, because you think about the decision, the one where LeBron joined the Heat, and I think unless you were a Miami Heat fan, which who the hell knows who that is?
Yeah, there are 8 of them.
Yeah, no one felt good about that. Even though
Jim Gray got his nice ratings. Wasn't that Jim Gray like his last? The last.
I'm gonna call out our friend Josh Biter, who kind of thought it was well executed.
Well, it also benefited the Boys and Girls Club. I thought that was nice.
That's right. I guess there was a donation.
That part was fine.
Guys, you uncaring, ruthless human beings.
LeBron does a ton of stuff for the community, so he's got real bona fides on that. I don't know that using kids as background props is my favorite thing, but yes, the money is good. But it's very funny how LeBron kind of did this with zero fanfare. It was just a tweet by his agency. And Paul George did a 3-part documentary that no one gave a shit about.
That ended in a concert with Nas in Oklahoma City.
A concert, which, by the way, that's insane. What are they doing over there? And is now hashtagging unfinished business.
Who came up with? Was that Paul George?
Yeah, it's Paul George.
Oh my God! That's the clownest.
And we're I'm not making this up. We heard this in a different podcast, but it was like. Yes, the unfinished business getting out of the first round of the playoffs.
I was about to say, you didn't get close, guys.
You guys didn't come close.
No.
You guys got beaten by the Utah Jazz, led by a rookie and a lanky Australian.
Yep.
And a lanky French.
Who continue to get better, by the way.
Yes.
Jazz are going to be better.
Yeah, I love the Jazz, but it's they didn't even come close. They lost in 6 in the first round.
Yeah.
As a Laker fan, whatever, at the end of the day, I don't really care. It stings a little to get rejected from a player who wants to stay in OKC, but whatever. As an NBA fan, I'm actually excited about him staying because I think it adds a lot more intrigue. I'm really interested in seeing them, and I'm really excited about rooting against the Thunder.
Me too.
Now, it's going to be really, really fun. This decision makes no sense on so many levels. I don't get why Paul George decided to stick with the Thunder.
Do you guys remember that? I didn't notice it at the time, but I guess LeBron had a quote very early after the season ended where he mentioned that some guys just don't want to play in meaningful games every day.
That's exactly what I thought.
It feels like maybe that was Paul George.
Yep.
That's twice now he's spurned LeBron.
I think he likes the cover of knowing that Westbrook will shoot 43 times. And
it's hit his head on the platter.
Ultimately,
at the end of the
referendum will always, good or bad, will always be on Russell Westbrook. I think some dudes are just kind of lame dudes, they're just kind of lame guys. And Paul George has kind of a lame name and seemingly
you can't trust a man with 2 first names.
No, for a guy with 2 names of the Beatles, he has kind of no hits to his name.
It's kind of true.
And. That being said,
I'd still rather
if he had
have him.
signed with the Lakers, I would have been like, Paul George is going to be Scottie Pippen. But he's not, and I'm excited to be rid of him and rid of his agent, Aaron Mintz, who we have completely extracted from our lives.
That pissed me off. The Aaron Mintz stuff got me... the Paul George not signing with the Lakers was a disappointment. The Aaron Mintz stuff has me sort of kind of angry. Not that many things happen in sports that make me actually angry, but it seems... oddly vengeful for him to just
petty.
To lose. For him, it's dumb too as an agent to eliminate one of the premier sports franchises, even as a leverage tool.
Right.
And he was just like, nah, Julius, you're done. Paul, you're not even taking a meeting. Who else are his clients? Like JJ Redick.
Yeah, I also saw that Grayson Allen, famous rookie villain from Duke, is a client of his, which I'm like, that's just perfect.
Yeah. Where's Grayson Allen going?
Utah. He's in Utah.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. That's
He
about right.
already picked a fight with Trae Young in Summer League last night.
Yeah, I saw that.
He tried to tear off his arm. He tried to do a Kelly Olynyk to Trae Young's shoulder.
Jazz are bringing back the Stockton Hornacek screens, I think.
Yeah, they sure are.
Oh,
well,
boy.
I mean, to me, and I think Eric, we've all talked about it. The emotional takeaway of this is just when you get someone like LeBron, kind of nothing else really matters. It's
Yeah, we have a lot of beef, but
you
it doesn't
kind of
matter.
won the game.
Yeah.
And everything else is kind of window dressing. I'm so effing excited to watch him be a Laker.
So excited.
So excited.
All right.
That's a good
Let's
bow
say
on-
it together. So excited.
That's a good bow on that one. I like that.
So let's talk about the other guys.
The guys we
Let's
did
talk about
sign.
the pips.
Oh, my
Because we got
God.
a lot of weird pips.
Do we want to do Lance first or last? Because I think he's the one that we definitely agree on.
Well, Dan, just break down the general picture
Yeah.
of the different moves.
Okay, so I forget the exact timeline of how everything was announced, but I'm pretty sure that the first guy announced after LeBron was Lance Stevenson. If it wasn't him, it was JaVale McGee.
JaVale, yeah.
Rondo and KCP came next, and then Rondo was the last
Yeah,
one.
Rondo was the one. We were around for Rondo.
So welcome back, guys.
Yeah.
I actually guessed the Brad bomb. I guess was Rajon Rondo.
That's right.
And
That's
I
right,
was-
because we had to piece it together. We had to piece together what the hell he could be talking about. We were like, Darren Collison doesn't have a weird name.
I dissected the Brad bomb.
Yeah.
How did you? So you came up with a combo, the Lance
Well,
Rondo.
it pieced together once we figured out what
Rajon
he was talking
Stevenson.
that he had combined those two people.
players. Brad was very high, I think.
So Lance was number one, and we all kind of agree is the most confounding.
Yeah, he's terrible. He's there's no part of his game that's good, and I'm not sure that there was a part of his game that was ever all
I'm gonna
that
try.
good.
I'm gonna try to talk you into it at the end of this. But
Okay,
run
you
through
can-
it.
you
I'm
can
gonna
feel free.
I'm gonna do my best.
I don't need any analytics, even though, by the way, the analytics do agree that Lance is one of the worst players in the NBA.
Yeah.
He was rated as a a replacement level player, shouldn't even
Right.
be at the end of a bench. I watched a lot of Indiana Pacers games last year because, as my fantasy contingent knows, I have a little bit of a fantasy boner for Thad Young. So I watched a crap load of Pacers games to say who was getting Thad involved in the games. Is there a particular lineup where
Right.
he was thriving? And the Lance lineups were ones where no one thrived but Lance.
Right.
It was Lance with the rebound, Lance 80 feet by himself, Lance windmill reverse layup, no, eyes closed, clearly exhaling in a soft blow. Usually missed layup. Sometimes he'd get hot and knock down 3 or 4 shots in a row, and that was fine. But I felt like everything fell apart with
Right.
Lance on the court. And one thing that I didn't realize until I looked at the analytics is that he's also an atrocious perimeter defender. He gets credit for being a hard-nosed defender, but that's only when he's guarding LeBron in the post.
I think
exclusively.
Lance is like meta with none of the benefits of meta.
Yeah, he's not. He's pretty crazy.
I'm gonna defend him,
All right,
but I might
break-
wait to the end.
No, break it down now.
Yeah, it's
I'm going to defend it because honestly, it is a head scratcher, and the money about it is also a head scratcher because he got signed for I think $4.5 million.
4.5, 5, something
I mean,
like that.
no one. Once again, it's like Luol Deng and Mozgov, to a
Yeah.
much smaller scale.
Who was
We're not
bidding?
bidding against anyone.
No.
Indiana didn't want him, and they're the only place where he's had any modicum of success is in Indiana.
Was it Charlotte that had him for 13
yeah, Charlotte
days?
had him and couldn't get rid of him fast enough.
Exactly.
Here's what I'll say about Lance. He is not scared of big moments. He went at LeBron in a really intense way many different times and got beat, but held his own a little bit, showed some resistance.
Went down in a blaze of glory.
Went down in a blaze of glory, blowed on LeBron, which was funny, so we're going to be entertained. Also, and this can work negatively, there is some bias that can happen if you happen, Doc Rivers is famous for signing guys who played really well against him once for too much money. But I will trust that LeBron James, obviously these decisions were made with LeBron James's consent.
Yes.
If not direct input, direct
I've heard
saying do this.
I have had a friend text me to say, Is there any chance that LeBron wanted Lance signed just to stick him at the end of a bench and never let him see
That's
a court?
possible. That's possible. Or just to not have to play him. But he will have to face him in
Yeah,
practice.
to scrimmage him. He's going to get his ear blown in every day.
Yeah. I do think, though,
maybe he likes it.
Lance has been in the playoffs. He's played better in the playoffs than he has in the regular season.
That's true.
And I do think there's a common thread to all of the guys that we have signed, which is that they are all playoff tested. With KCP, I don't think, but all of the new guys. They're all playoff tested. They all play better in the playoffs. And they all defend well. And Rondo and Stevenson both can create their own shots.
Yeah, that I think is the most important point.
And it's weird because I've heard everyone talk about, like, well, you need shooting and shooters and shooting. And if you actually watch the playoffs closely, the main thing that you needed were guys who could defend and guys who could create their own shots. The Rockets missed 27 threes in a row. Ryan Anderson couldn't find his way onto the court. Kyle Korver couldn't find his way onto the court by the end. Everyone was just getting targeted if you couldn't defend. And
if you couldn't switch everything,
if you
basically.
couldn't switch everything, and if you couldn't, and there was like only 10 guys in the whole playoffs who could play make. Anyway, that's my excuse.
I also think you're missing one other thing, is that Rondo, JaVale, and Lance are all like these tough dudes with a chip on their shoulder,
right?
And they are going to grow up our young men.
That's right.
They're gonna
hook or by crook.
Yeah, they're gonna rough them up, and I think that was probably part of the agenda from Magic and Rob, is like, we want to challenge our young guys, day in and day out, and we'll see. Are they going to stick through the fire or not?
I don't really have beef with the other signings the way that a lot of people do. Like, you could find holes with JaVale McGee,
but it's a minimum contract,
right? He's
low
making
risk.
nothing.
They're all, but for the record, they're also all 1-year deals. I think is important to acknowledge.
Flexibility
and
still
you do
exists.
play a premium. You pay a premium for 1-year deals, and we're probably not going to win this year anyway.
No,
I
liked KCP last year.
Me too.
And he's back for 60% of what he made this last season. Probably still more than he would have gotten on an open market, but still, whatever.
He was
Rondo,
very
I'm
good
okay
in
with
the second half of the season too.
Yeah, I like KCP.
Yeah.
He does a lot of good things. He's actually a really good fit in almost any way you slice it around LeBron too, because he's good coming off screens. He's a decent shooter.
Same agent.
Same agent. Some guy named Richard.
This was one of the surprising things. I didn't realize how much like agent-player relationships determined so much in free agency. That was eye-opening.
The Julius thing was definitely
all Aaron Mintz.
Because D'Angelo was his client. He did not
I
like
forgot
him getting
about
shipped
D'Angelo.
out. I mean, I think when obviously it's hindsight. When you see the whole puzzle kind of play itself out, you go like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I wonder if Paul George was out of the picture a long time ago.
Seems like maybe.
May have been.
That's
we'll never know, but it does seem like he was probably poisoning all of his clients.
Yeah, whoever's left, you're just probably not going to be a Laker.
And I'm sad about Julius, but it does make sense on a personal level. I think like he was ushered in from the previous regime. He
was the last guy to play a game with Kobe, I saw.
Oh,
I didn't notice that myself. I can't take credit for that one, but now no one in the Lakers has played a game with Kobe.
Eric, you were saying something interesting about practice. I think my feeling is Rondo, or even Magic seems to have alluded to this, that Rondo is going to push Lonzo for the starting spot. What are your kind of feelings about that?
Well, just in general, I'm excited to watch the games, but I really want to go to the practices.
Yes.
This is going to be such a weird season of practices to watch like all of these characters come together and to see what the dynamics are. Like, I just want to be a fly on the wall.
Yo, what's the name of the guy who keeps emailing you?
Benjamin On.
Can we try to get him to let us in?
If we get season tickets for the South Bay Lakers, we get access to a practice of the Lakers.
Oh man,
I don't know if
Benjamin's
the economics work out for us.
Well, can we split it like 25 ways?
Benjamin's got you by the nuts.
He really does.
Wow, what a vice grip.
But Rondo, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. They're very comparable players. They're very different personality-wise.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good that I mean, it's interesting that Lonzo had everything given to him last season, was the face of the franchise, and now he's going to be challenged, and I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, they certainly seem to be changing course kind of philosophically with him, of being like, now you got to prove it.
Which is great.
You're not going to be coddled.
Yeah, that's fine. And whoever loses out on the starting job you're going to be running a second unit that's just as weird as the starting unit.
That's definitely true.
So, the Lakers are too deep at almost every position except center is oddly lacking right now.
Well,
but
yeah,
you've got what's the starting lineup? Let's assume Lonzo beats Rondo out for the starting lineup. What's the starting five for the Lakers next year?
Lonzo, KCP, LeBron, Ingram, and JaVale McGee. What?
I think that the
Brooke
Lopez.
I
mean, honestly, everyone's been jumping on us for not having any shooters, which I get. But I think if they do re-sign Brooke Lopez, which it seems like they probably will, more likely than not, that solves that at least a little bit.
I also think he'll be really good with LeBron.
Me too.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a perfect candidate.
I really want Brooke to come back.
Oh,
he's basically Ilgauskas, but with a 3-pointer.
Oh, yeah. They would be really good.
They'd be really good. And
it's so funny.
It really takes care of a lot of problems. And then your bench is really, it's Kuzma and Hart and
Rondo,
which
Lance,
is great. Lance.
JaVale.
But don't you feel a little bit better thinking about Lance as the 9th man?
Yes, by a
or
lot.
10th man.
Or 11th.
And also, we went to Summer League, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but I was really into that Svi guy.
Oh, right. We have Moritz Wagner on the team, too.
I'm not even going to try to do his name, but Svi McClellan has a beautiful stroke. Beautiful
He's a shooter,
stroke.
right? Isn't that one of his things?
He's a shooter, and he's sneaky athletic, which means white, but can jump. and actually, played really aggressive defense. I was very impressed with him, and I watched, because I'm a loser, I watched their final game. He plays really hard, and Wagner played really well in the last game.
What are your predictions, amount of wins that we're going to get next year? Just throw them out.
What was our final total this year?
The
35?
team as is?
As is, not if we get Kawhi. As is. So
what about Brooke? Are we including him or no?
I would include, let's say, Brooke or equivalent.
Yeah.
Okay.
A middle of the pack starting center.
I think the Lakers are a 50-win team.
Yeah.
Okay.
With LeBron.
I was going to say 52.
I'm going 48.
So if you average the two of your selections, all three of our selections.
That's right.
50-win team.
Okay, but this also, I think it's a good point in the sense that the way this roster is being constructed, to me, looks like, hey, LeBron, why don't you give us 65 games of effort?
I'm okay with that.
And let's try to get the 6th seed.
Yeah.
Or better. But let's not even worry about the regular season. Let's just try to stay out of Houston or Golden State in the first round. And then we're going to unleash on you guys playoff Rondo, playoff Lance.
Playoff
hopefully
Hoodie Mello?
Playoff Hoodie Mello, which I don't know is good. And then our young guys who have a year more seasoning under their belts. I do think that this is basically it's a 3-year play, but even the first season it's a playoff play.
I think if I were betting, I would bet that we're going to make the playoffs. But there are so many question marks to this next season. How much is LeBron going to play? How much effort? To be honest, I really wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't even be heartbroken if we miss the playoffs next season.
I think they'll make it though.
I'd be heartbroken a little bit.
There are 10 legit teams right now for 8 spots, and I think there's definitely a universe where we don't make the playoffs. It would suck, but I'm prepared for that, to be honest.
Yeah, Eric and I did this in the car, and we were like, Jesus.
Yeah, the West is crazy.
Because first it's like you have the top 2, Golden State, Houston. There's no reason to expect either of them to drop off.
No. Golden State now has DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, right. Then there's this insane jumble.
Utah, Portland, OKC.
I would say the Lakers are in this jumble, I would say.
Yeah.
Pelicans, are they in there?
Pelicans, yeah.
T-Wolves and Spurs, if...
Right, yeah. What do we know?
Who
What's
the
happening?
hell knows about the Spurs? At
least the Clippers got worse.
The Clippers got not better.
They lost DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, we forgot about the Nuggets, too.
The Nuggets will get better.
The Nuggets will get better. Also, I think, it's hard to know, but I think Memphis is going to get
they'll be better, but not good enough.
No, but it's crazy to think. Okay, let me ask you this exercise. If Memphis is in the East, where does Memphis finish?
They might be a playoff team in the East.
I think they could be the 4th seed in the East.
God, the East is refuse.
I think it's Boston, Philly, Toronto, and then insert mediocre team here.
Indiana is the only other one that I would say is basically in the East. The Heat, the Bucks, probably in.
Right.
And then...
I think they're in. I'm wondering, are they discernibly better than
The Grizzlies the East?
The Grizzlies.
Why don't we just move the Grizzlies to the East?
Denver is the 4th seed.
Aren't the Grizzlies east of like a center line in the U.S.?
They're east-ish.
Tennessee?
They just need to get rid of the conferences. It's a joke.
Yeah. Well, Mark Cuban's behind it. Man, everybody. And the East hates it because there are 3 teams in the East that are like, what are you talking about? We can go to the finals finally. Raptors, Celtics, Sixers. Who's going out of those 3 next year? Celtics?
I don't know. It remains to be seen how they're going to mesh.
I'm going with Raptors.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, that's
I
what
love the Raptors.
Eric said that, and I was like, that's actually kind of the smart money. Because they really, it's just been LeBron who screwed them every year.
Every year.
They've really been the best team in that conference. They're just the worst team against LeBron.
Yeah, it's really
Indiana
really
was
sad.
better against LeBron.
By a lot.
Yeah. Also,
markedly.
If we could somehow make the finals and play the Raptors.
So, that would be kind of... Well, nobody would watch it. Okay, so here was the other thought that I had on the free agent stuff was, what are the Lakers now waiting for? Because a lot of these moves have kind of killed the chance to trade for Kawhi until... There's still a tiny bit of wiggle room here, but let's assume they sign Brook Lopez. I think that's then gone because they would have to salary match. I was reading a salary cap thing because it was making my head hurt. If the Lakers make a trade right now, they're under the salary cap, so they don't have to salary match. It makes it a lot easier to trade for Kawhi. If the Lakers hit the salary cap, then they will have to salary match, which makes it intensely difficult without including some of the guys that they just signed. Or and then picks for the next quarter century.
Right.
So it's December 15th, right? When free agents can be traded. Free agents signed in the summer can be traded. So it's looking less and less likely that the Lakers are going to end up with Kawhi this year.
You know, as a Lakers fan, I know I should really, really want us to have Kawhi now, but I also I really want a year of LeBron and the kids. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a really weird, exciting year, and I'm just fascinated by what it's going to be like. Yeah. And I also think every day that goes by that that Kawhi is on the Spurs team, what they've done kind of pissed me off, the Spurs, and I just want them to get screwed over, and I don't want to give them things. I don't want to give them our good things.
Yeah, I don't think LeBron does either.
That's right. It's you don't get toys this Christmas.
I don't want to trade my Halloween candy with them anymore.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. And we talked about this a little bit last time. It's if you flip the organizations, if we were behaving like the Spurs and the Spurs were behaving like us, people would be calling us clowns left and right. People would be ridiculing Magic and Pelinka. They have alienated Kawhi so much. They're clearly talking out of both sides of their mouth. They're leaking stuff left and right. They seem to be in denial of the predicament that they're in, it seems. And meanwhile, everyone's like, man, they're just so smart, so patient. I'm like, for what? He is not coming back.
Yeah, it's getting worse for them.
It's getting
every day
worse. And they seem to be, Lord knows we've been accused, rightfully so, of being arrogant, of institutional arrogance, I think was the way that it was said on a recent podcast I listened to.
I could see that.
That is not incorrect, but if you're going to say that about us, no one is acting more institutionally arrogant than the San Antonio Spurs right now. They don't think that this applies to them. They talk about their best player all season, thinking that it wouldn't come back to them, and now they seem to be kind of amateurishly, trying to get false information out to stooges in the press. I just think it's
lots
it hasn't
of different
been their
ones
best.
Too.
Yeah, it has not been their right. They can't even stay on message week to week.
Yeah, Kawhi's taking the brunt of the hurt from these stories.
The players always do.
Yeah, which is kind of garbage.
Yes,
and I know he has wacky Uncle Dennis or whoever that is. It I think it's Dennis, right?
Yeah, Uncle Dennis. Yeah.
And I'm sure he does deserve some measure of blame. But you're right. The Spurs. They sort of they could have waited it out a little bit longer. It was March, I think, when the Spurs finally were just like...
Apparently it was the Tony Parker thing was the end.
Oh. He's not even a Spur anymore.
No.
As of today,
Wait,
Tony
happened?
Parker is a member of the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh. Are you
really? Two-year, $11 million deal.
That's a perfect Mitch Kupchak signing.
Do you think that's the Spurs' first move to try to get Kawhi to stay?
Wow.
Too late, bro.
Manu's still there.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. It's going to be weird to see him in a different jersey.
I really like the fact that some of the first takes coming out were about how Tony Parker could be a great locker room influence in Charlotte.
Yeah, whose wife is he going to bone?
I was going to say, is he going to go fellow countryman Nick Batum?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mrs. Batum should watch out.
Wear the girdle from Robin Hood Men in Tights. Call the locksmith.
So at this point, okay.
Chastity belt. That's what it's called.
That's right, chastity belt. So remember the huge lock?
Yeah.
But call the locksmith also from that.
Yes.
At this point, where we stand, what would you, if you were Magic and Rob, what would you offer the current Spurs? So not saying what you'd be willing to give up with, what you'd be willing to offer right now.
Josh Harden, like a pick.
Lakers,
right?
Eric's going low ball.
But like last
Absolutely.
2 weeks ago, we were like, well, Ingram is they're not going to do it for anything less than Ingram. At this point, I don't think any Laker fan is including Ingram, and I don't think the front office is.
No, because
he's
now,
off the table.
The thing is, the Lakers know they're competing with basically nobody.
Right.
Philly has said they haven't included any of their big three, if you want to call it that, Simmons, Embiid, or Fultz, who remembered how to shoot, supposedly.
Uh-huh.
The Celtics have said they're not even in the mix.
Right.
Like, why would we even bother?
I actually think for them it doesn't make that much sense.
No, they have 2 studs on that team and like 8 young studs. Why would they mortgage that?
Philly, it makes sense. If I were betting today, well, actually, this is a good exercise. If you were betting today on where Kawhi starts the season, my bet would be
San
Philly.
Antonio.
See, I think he's going to be. I think it's too toxic.
I would say San Antonio, just because I want to see that happen.
Yeah.
I think they're going to biff it. I think they're just going to hold on until somebody.
What is he going to do though? Is he even going to play? How can he play at this point?
No, he's going to hold out.
What are the contractual rules? Can they find? I mean, what happens? I don't think we've ever seen this happen.
No,
it happens in football.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, this is what they were afraid about from the mental health standpoint. If we got treatment for mental health, that someone would just claim that they can't play and they would be racking checks. So it's just interesting that it's now happening with a physical condition.
We don't even know if he's actually physically healthy.
That's the other thing. No one's seen him play.
There's no video footage of Kawhi anywhere. He's traveling with one of the 8 Magic Johnsons around L.A.
That dude can play. I'm telling you right now.
Ain't
nothing wrong.
I suspect
that dude can get down.
And can we safely say Kawhi's one of the 5 best players in the NBA?
When he's healthy, for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Could a LeBron, Kawhi,
he's maybe
and
the third best
random Lakers win a title?
Well, it depends who the random ones are. I think. I actually think the paradigm has shifted a little bit from the you just need 2 guys and bozos or 3 guys and bozos. I think what you really need now are
more bananas,
young guys on rookie contracts who are athletic, and then a couple of a superstar or 2. I think that's going to be the new. I mean, Boston almost made the NBA Finals with nobody, a good coach, and Al Horford.
I think you need a lot of switching, a lot of athleticism, and a lot of shooting.
Right.
Those are my 3.
We got 2.
We got 2 out of 3. I mean. Okay, let me ask another question. Do you think by the start of the 2019-2020 season, Kawhi Leonard will be in a Lakers uniform?
I do.
I've been more nervous over the last 2 days than I was over the previous 5 because of all these conflicting stories about whether or not he wants to be a Laker or a Clipper, which is weird.
Who wants to be a Clipper?
I don't know, but Shams, who's generally fairly unbiased with this stuff.
Yes, though Shams, I got to say, all of those dudes, all of the Yahoo dudes or former Yahoo dudes, Woj, Shams, all have let themselves get completely played by the Spurs recently.
And now they're going head-to-head.
Right.
Because Woj is like, no Clippers.
But those 2 have been the main leakers of very obviously Spurs leaks, and reporting them kind of as facts, even though they're just clearly leaks from front offices.
2 reasons I could see Kawhi being on the Clippers. 1, Jerry West is a mad genius.
True.
2, I could see the Spurs and Popovich wanting to F you the Lakers and send Kawhi to the
I
Clippers.
Still don't see a world where everyone keeps kind of going well, they'll do the smart thing and just the best offer is the best offer. I just don't see him trading in the West to us. I just don't see it. I feel like the way this is going to end up is Philly's going to do the Paul George plunge, and they're going to give up. I don't understand.
Fultz?
I honestly don't understand why they're not giving up Fultz unless they really think he's going to be good. But I would just
include
do
him.
it.
Dude forgot how to shoot.
Yeah, just do Fultz in that Phoenix pick you just picked up. Trade him there. Worst case, it doesn't work out, and he goes to the Lakers in a year, and you didn't give up that much. That is still where I feel like this is heading.
Dan,
but honestly, I don't even care.
What would you give up for Kawhi right now?
Right now, it's weird. I know everybody says the Laker that you have to hang on to is Brandon Ingram. I'm actually kind of a Lonzo Ballophile in this one. He's the guy I don't want to give up. He's the guy that makes, in my mind, the most sense with LeBron James of our young guys. And you could argue Kuzma and Josh Hart, but like of the potential, like many-time All-Stars, I would say Ingram and Ball are your two guys in that court.
Yeah.
I like Lonzo's game with LeBron, the defense, the rebounding, the passing. The ball's going to be flying around the court with those two guys.
Yep.
It's interesting that your boy band pick was Ingram and mine was Ball, but I would rather have
I know. That actually is really
and
weird.
I picked Kuzma, and I would trade him first. So tell me what any of that means.
I trade Kuzma, too. I love Kyle Kuzma. I feel like his ceiling is
I love Kyle Kuzma.
Lower than Ingram and Ball.
To me, it's just emotional. He's the one that emotionally I feel the most connected to. And I do feel like, in a weird way, this is totally just guesswork. But my guess is if Magic and Rob could trade any of the three, they'd trade Lonzo. That's my suspicion. And it's only based on
the headache factor
and what I think they think of when you look at the guys that they're filling out this roster with. I do think Magic probably in particular is like, I want killers. I want guys who want to kick your ass in practice. I don't want anyone that's going to be kind of like, for lack of a better example, like making mixtapes and, and I think Kuzma, there seems to be a lot of evidence that Kuzma is a killer and wants to be great.
Which is sweet.
And wants to work hard and is like kind of got that scrappy vibe about him. And Ingram just seems like everyone loves Ingram and he's like the easiest person to deal with. But anyway, I'm kind of the position that I don't want to get rid of anyone.
Yeah, and I think that's probably where I end up as well, because when we were prepping for this podcast, I decided to just go through and figure out who are the big name guys next offseason. What if Kawhi doesn't work out? What are the other options on the table? And there are more than I realized is what I ended up on. Here's the quick list, and then we can fire through them. There's Kawhi, obviously. Kemba Walker, Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, Chris Middleton, Kevin Durant, by the way, has a player option.
Yes, he did.
Karl Anthony Towns and Kristaps Porzingis are both restricted free agents.
I think Kat signed a deal.
Did he end up?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Jimmy Butler
because Jimmy
hates
Butler
him.
wants out.
Yeah.
Because Karl Anthony Towns signed a deal.
Because Karl Anthony Towns doesn't know what team they're playing until 4 p.m. Kevin Love could opt out of a player deal.
Yeah.
Marc Gasol could opt out of a player deal as well. I don't think either of them will, because they're set to make about $25 million apiece.
Right.
And I don't know that either of them gets that now on the open market. But if we just look at the early names on that list, Kemba, a lot of Ks, by the way.
Yeah,
Kemba,
it's
Kawhi,
like the Kardashians.
Klay, Kyrie, Jimmy Butler. I should have gone with Chris. I wrote the word Middleton down like an idiot. That's another K. Kevin, Kat, Kristaps. It's just Ks as far as the eye can see.
It really is. That's wild.
I don't know. Who's the other? I guess, Kyrie's not going to come back and play with LeBron, but Kemba, I'm sure, would. Klay, probably back to Golden State. What if the Lakers end up with Kevin Durant and LeBron James next year?
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
I see KD going to the Knicks
we were talking about
with
this
Kyrie.
There seems to be rumors going that way.
Chris Middleton is awesome.
Yeah, we love Chris Middleton.
I love
And
Chris.
you forgot one off this list who's having a lot of buzz around him is Damian Lillard. I guess he's not a free agent.
No, he has
next
3.
year.
I just saw he has 3 years left
so
on
we're
his
not
deal.
getting Damian Lillard.
I mean, unless they get unless he demands a trade to us.
Neil Olshey has said there's nothing there, but that's what he has to say.
Right.
I
mean,
don't know.
just Portland has all of the control on that. I mean, unless they panic.
There's
unless they do what Cleveland did with Kyrie, it's basically the same situation.
Do they want to just scrap it?
Right.
Because
I
they're
think
kind
that
of
was
stuck.
They are.
they maxed out with idiotic contract. I mean, the Lakers have done that as well, but like Evan Turner was given a massive deal. I think Mo Harkless made a bunch of money.
I can't see them being
probably
let's
not.
give them to the Lakers.
The point is, the future is bright. We made it through some dark years, fellas.
Yeah.
And the future is bright.
That's right. And we have options. That's the beautiful thing that the gift LeBron gave to us was the gift of flexibility. Because we don't have to do anything. We can stand pat and not worry about him leaving.
It is kind of incredible that he wasn't just like, let's do it now. He was like, Do you ever get the feeling like maybe LeBron's just tired?
I think he is. I think he wants a season off, honestly.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's why I wouldn't be surprised if we miss the playoffs. This could be his, as you said, Eli, this is his Michael Jordan-like baseball year.
Yeah,
a
baseball
little bit.
Year.
They're going to build the LeBron soundstage outside of Staples and whatever else needs to play. I forget what I was... Oh, I think I was in a different podcast, and I said it reminded me of like the end of The Fugitive when Tommy Lee Jones finally catches his man, and he's just like, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Like tired. He sits down. LeBron's just like, I'm glad all that's over with. Yeah, he might be just taking the year off.
I love that scene.
There's
Dr.
a lot of really...
Richard Kimball.
It's a fantastic
I know you're
movie.
innocent.
I love every part of that movie.
I know about Frederick Sykes.
Have you seen... who's the comedian that everybody's going crazy about right now?
Tiffany Haddish?
John Mulaney? Is that?
Yeah.
He does a whole Fugitive bit at the end of his most recent stand-up.
He made out with my wife.
I wasn't going to say it.
Not while we were married, but previous to our courtship.
Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
a lot of you.
You know, like when you meet some people that, or I don't know if you meet someone who's like dated your spouse or girlfriend before you, and it's like a weird thing where you don't want them to be like too cool, but you don't want to be like too lame either, because then it kind of, you're like, well, I don't understand why she likes me and this dude.
Yeah, it's confusing.
But I got to say, like, I've had the pleasure of working with Mulaney before, and he's like, he's frustratingly funny.
Well, good.
And you're kind of like, you know what? That's good. Like, I'm glad that someone likes me that liked him.
Yeah. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
That's really... Anyway, he does a whole bit on the switch the samples scene, which is also
They switched the samples.
They switched the samples
so they could bring you the
Provasic.
DU-90. Provasic.
It's also interesting that you and Mulaney have the same...
By the way, I've done that routine for a decade.
Yeah, exactly. I think Mulaney stole this from Bauman.
Are we the same person?
Yeah.
It's conceivable.
Is he my like Irish twin?
We broke something here on Ball In, Ball Out, and
Another Brad bomb.
Another Brad bomb. Somewhere in the Manzanita.
We need a drop for a Brad bomb. Someone's got to come up with a drop.
Brad bomb.
Yeah. Can you record something? Eli can sing, by the way.
I'll do something. I'll try
the
to.
Listeners, you may not know this.
It's weird that I haven't done Michael McDonald at all on this pod.
Yeah, we're going to need you to do Michael McDonald doing a Brad bomb.
Maybe next
Brad
time.
Bomb? I added a J to it. One thing I did want to mention before we sign off, so that we can all have a little chuckle, is that Dwight Howard was traded first to the Brooklyn Nets, then released, and then signed by the Washington Wizards to join a team of ball stoppers.
Also, a famously unhealthy locker room just added
Dwight Howard. I know everybody's laughing at the Lakers' absurd locker room, but the Wizards just added Dwight.
He's not just like a locker room cancer. He's like locker room Ebola.
Yeah, he's the worst.
He's like uncurable, like certain death sentence.
We heard nothing bad about Dwight all year, and then Charlotte got rid of him, and all of the bad stuff poured out with it.
What's great is...
and they brought in Tony Parker,
You're so right, and you know he must be just the worst, because it's not just the front office leaking stuff. It's like players. It's like guys still in the league being like, oh, I hated him.
Yeah.
I can... like being like,
team.
I'm so happy he's gone.
So we enjoy that, I
think,
collectively.
Can we talk about one other thing that might affect the Lakers?
We can.
Speaking of ball stopping, speaking of
Carmelo.
Problematic. Hootie Mello. Much like all of our other picks or pickups, I've talked myself into Mello being good for us, maybe for the right price.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Eric,
I do not like it. The only thing
Thanks, Sam. I am.
The only thing that I can sort of get excited about is thinking that LeBron would make him would just accentuate all of his good parts.
Right.
And the situations that he was in before with the Knicks, with the, as you said, Dan, Billy Donovan, offenseless Thunder.
Brutal.
Ugh.
None of those accentuated his strengths. LeBron would do that, and I think, we could eke out some of his star power that way.
Yeah. because he's been either the premier ball stopper on his own team, or he's like the third ball stopper on a ball stopped team.
A lot of stoppage.
The Lakers are kind of the opposite of that. They don't have the luxury of ball stopping because no one can shoot. It's got to move. You got to cut and move, get to the bucket.
No one wants to shoot, so it's hot potato.
It is.
I don't hate it. I think there's a very high probability that he ends up in a Lakers uniform.
It just seems inevitable, doesn't it?
It
Magic
really does.
loves him.
He does.
Kobe loves him. By the way, shout out to Kobe, who apparently
embraced LeBron as part of the family.
And was you're part of the family now. Has gone on TV
a
lot to say how much he supports. It actually seems genuine, which I know Kobe sometimes isn't. But it seems very legit that he also Kobe's so smart about basketball, and someone asked him a very basketball centered LeBron question of he's going to be 34 and father time is undefeated, blah 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 blah. And Kobe's like, yeah, but even I or MJ, LeBron's 6'8" and 270.
Yeah, if anyone's game can transition to more post up, it's LeBron versus Kobe or MJ.
And he was basically being like, look, imagine Karl Malone, but really fast still, and the best passer ever. And he's I learned that angles in the post, you can really exploit those. It's a great place to pass out of and find cutters. And I'm like, oh, of course. LeBron would be the best at that.
He would dominate the hell out of it.
Dominate.
Now, Kobe had more post moves. I don't know that LeBron could ever get quite to that point. But yeah, LeBron's going to be fine.
He's going to be fine. He's a savant.
He is a savant. He's a basketball genius.
Can you imagine? I'm just thinking about a second unit of Melo, Rondo,
oh my God,
McGee, Stevenson.
I think my services are going to be needed.
Jesus,
Dr. Noble.
Who can we even bring back? I mean, who's left?
I'm going to be working overtime on this podcast, just really analyzing, doing some armchair psychiatry this next year.
Can we get J.R. Smith, or can we only have one guy who will probably forget the time?
God.
And Lance Stevenson is already him.
No, J.R. No, I veto J.R.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know we got to wrap it up, but I do have one question that popped into my head. Does Luke Walton make it through the year?
Oh, I think definitely.
We just got beer mid-podcast.
Spectacular. What a
How
delivery.
about that?
Sorry, Luke. I think for sure. I think Jeannie.
I hope so.
Jeannie seems to be really riding hard for him, and ultimately, I think she has final say. I mean, maybe if we start 10-27,
then be a little
there might be some
warmness
rumblings,
to the seat.
But they're also when you see the coaches that were hired this year, there's not an obvious guy out there.
No.
I think Luke is perfectly suited for this position. He's laid back. He seems like he can manage personalities.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that we didn't like about him last season was he wasn't super X's and O's.
Right. His rotations were weird.
LeBron is X's and O's.
Yeah.
So I'm not too mad about that. And I think he's going to be able to handle the personalities in a savvy, laid back way. They were also in the same draft.
I was getting
LeBron that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
wild.
Boggles the mind. We're old, guys.
We're old.
Congratulations to all of us.
We are.
That's all I got. Are we good?
Boom.
No, I mean, LeBron's a Laker.
LeBron's a Laker.
That's kind of. I mean, that's it.
All right, take us home, Mr. Bauman.
LeBron James is a Laker. Stay tuned on KCAL 9.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.